And one thing has been bothering me for the last, day and a half, and there shouldn't be anything that should be bothering us after their World Cup winning performance. But there was one thing, and that was the girl from Delhi. And it's not because she's from Delhi, but a young girl who did so well for her country, played majority of the games, far more many games than, let's say, Shefali, taking nothing away from Shefali, by the way, but I'm just looking at the logic. Played far more games than Shefali. Played a crucial knock in that virtual quarterfinal versus New Zealand. Gets injured, reaches, helps the team reach the semi-final, and then is replaced. Pratika Rawal is who I'm talking about, and she does not get a winner's medal. That is the question. And that's the thing that's been bothering me, and I thought I'll turn to my learned colleagues who may, help me see another picture, some technicalities, some rules that I'm not aware of. Yes, why has she not got a medal is what I want to know.
Well, just, of the many ills that exist in our sport, this is another ill to which there should be a cure, but nobody's really talking about. Again, it will make for some conversation right now, but I doubt if there's going to be a rule change after this incident. Well, also not the first time that we're seeing something like this across sport. In fact, you see many leagues have these rules. You've got to play so many games for you to be having a premiership medal at the end of it. Like yes, it does. So like in the Premier League,
but there are certain matches, right? But so if somebody has played certain matches, they get it, na?
Yes. So the Premier League has, I think, minimum of 5 appearances for you to be eligible for a winner's medal at the end. Pratika Rawal,
out of 38 matches, 5 is all you need to get a winner's medal.
And mind you, he said appearances. So you don't even have to start. You can literally make 5 appearances on the bench and you're granted a winner's medal.
Absolutely.
So long as you've gone on the pitch.
Yes.
5 times. A whole season of 38 matches.
Yes.
5 times on the pitch and you get a Premier League medal.
Yes.
This girl has played all matches. Barring the semis and the finals.
Yes, she played all the matches through the group stage. Played a vital role as well. Forget that. Your contribution can vary. Again, you may not have a fruitful group stage, but you may as well play the innings of the tournament in the semi-final or the final, as was the case with the Jemima. So nothing to do with the proportional contribution of a player. Just the fact that you're part of a winning team, that the fact that you were there, you stood the ground, you represented your nation, not once but multiple times. That makes for and if your team's going ahead and crossing the final hurdle, should be a worthy recipient of the winner's medal.
You're talking about football. I recently came across another example because it concerns a player from my team, Chelsea, Estevao Willian, 18-year-old kid making waves, Brazilian. Yeah. He joined Chelsea this summer, technically from Palmeiras. Now, Palmeiras happened to be also in the Copa Libertadores, which is the South American variant of the Champions League, because he played group stage matches for them. If they go on to win the trophy, he'll get a medal. And he's not even technically in Palmeiras anymore. So why is it that ICC, sticks to this, I don't know, I can't even call it a Stone Age kind of rule.
Yeah, it's an archaic rule.
Yeah, it's very archaic. Yeah. It's like, you got replaced, so deal with that. I'm sorry. And again, this is something I'll again come back to. I remember in the 2023 World Cup, Hardik Pandya got injured, right? If India had won the final, even he wouldn't have had a winner's medal. It's very weird because he played practically every game prior to the semi. I don't know when he got knocked out midway, but whatever games he was there, he should have been this thing. And it's such a weird injustice, right? There were players on that side who didn't play a game. If India had won, they would have gotten a winner's medal. Isn't it a bit of an injustice that, and it's no disrespect, but Arundhati Reddy, who's part of the squad, didn't play a single game, gets a winner's medal. Pratika played games, scored 304 runs, I think, if memory serves me right, including a century, doesn't get a winner's medal.
By the way, nothing against Arundhati, she deserves it.
Of course, no.
She's part of the squad, nothing. But our point is, why not add another medal rather than taking it away from someone?
Yeah, why does it have to be
How much does it cost? Like ICC made millions of dollars from this tournament.
See, this has nothing to do with the money, I think. Again,
Is this the rule?
One medallion. Yeah, I think the rule is if a player gets so because the technicality being because she was no longer part of the squad. It was a 15-member squad again, and it took a player from outside to come replace her, and she went out. She wasn't in the 15. So the rule said only the 15 that were part of the campaign. And Pratika Rawal wasn't on the bench. She was replaced from the squad. And that's the technicality there, because it's a player that has gone out of the scheme of things, is no longer part of that 15 draft, doesn't get a medal.
I understand, but I think this rule needs to be relooked. It needs to be addressed. I can understand that if you got out of the squad before the tournament started, then it's fine. You had no role to play in the tournament, you were replaced, that's fine. Once the tournament starts, and maybe you can have a rule that once the tournament starts, fine, as soon as a player makes an appearance in a game, that should be it. Then he or she is part of that World Cup. You can even say that, okay, if you were just sitting out and got replaced from the squad without having played a single game, that also I will buy. That's also fine. But it's like just to look at an example. In 2011, I remember Praveen Kumar was initially part of the squad, but then he got injured and he got replaced before the tournament started by Srishant. Srishant, I think, replaced him. And then he does not get, it's fine, because he played no role in that World Cup. If Pratika Rawal, I'm saying in her case though, she's played many a games and match winning knocks at that, but even if she had just stepped onto the field and played as an official, not as a substitute fielder, but as an official member of the team in the 11, even one game, I think he or she should be considered. This is something that they need to relook at. I can't understand why. I mean, you just gave an example of Premier League where they just play 5 games in a
and in a tournament as short as, let's say, your Asia Cups, your Champions Trophy, World Cup, again, you're talking about just 9 matches. Perhaps there shouldn't be any room for, like the Premier League, it's a long season, 38 matches, which is why you have a cut-off of sorts of 5, let's say. I think even one game should count. Don't have these 2, 3, 4 appearances thing as well, because just extending the logic over there as well, Shane. By that logic, if India were to win the 2023 World Cup, Ravichandran Ashwin was in that side only for that low wicket in Chennai, and he didn't play a role after that. Now, if India were to win, then Ravichandran Ashwin wouldn't have gotten the medal. If you were to have a rule wherein you've got to have played at least 3 matches in a World Cup winning campaign, don't have this. Every player has a role to play in a campaign. It could be 1 match, it could be 7 match, 8 match, whatever.
No, I'm saying anyone who's part of the squad, okay, and has not gone out of the squad throughout the duration of the tournament, even if he or she doesn't play a single match, they will get a medal, fine. Only for the player who has been replaced in the middle of the tournament or at the start, I mean, as in I'm saying within 1 or 2 games or middle or towards the end, but had played a game for a replaced player who's gone out, but has played a game and technically he or she has contributed, then he or she should be considered separately. That is the...
Hypothetically, if there's a team that has the highest run scorer of a tournament, by a country mile that player is winning the player of the tournament or whatever, the most run scorer of the tournament award, gets injured on the eve of the final or the semi-final,
let's take
gets replaced.
Let's say Yuvraj Singh didn't play a role in the final, right?
Then
let's say he got injured
and was replaced by somebody. Replaced, not benched, replaced.
Maybe for the final you needed because he got a serious injury, let's say in semi.
Then you wouldn't have given him the player of the tournament award.
I mean, see what the Indian team did technically. I think for Ashish Nehra, he got injured in the semi-final.
Yeah.
So they didn't replace him because they said we'll play with a backup bowler and we'll play the final. Had he been replaced, then he wouldn't have got the medal. That was bizarre.
I was just doing some research to try and see if this is true across sports. I think even FIFA has a similar rule. I could be wrong, but I was just doing some searching and I remembered that in the midst of the 2022 World Cup, France had Karim Benzema injured midway through the tournament, but they didn't replace him in the squad. Why? Because if they had gone on to win it, and if he was replaced in the squad, he wouldn't have gotten a World Cup winners medal, and that's pretty much the only thing missing from his...
The only difference, Shane, is that in football you have such big squads that you can afford
24, 26 members.
Here you're just 15, exactly. So you really need to replace. I mean, the only logic I can think of and why this rule may have been in place is that to deter teams from making that replacement. So for example, let's say you've been playing 15 players and towards the latter half of the tournament, the conditions have changed. So where you're playing, the final conditions are different and you now think I need to use the 16th member. I need to bring in someone and you can fake an injury and go out. But this will probably deter you from faking that injury, because if you try and exploit that rule by pushing him out, bringing the 16th member, you run the risk of that member not getting a winner's medal. So I think I'm just trying to look at a logic. Maybe the logic only exists so that it deters team from making these finding these loopholes or just removing a player. They'll only remove a player where he's genuinely injured, because then they will not be given a winner's
Could be. I think that's a nice theory.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying
Yeah.
to think of a logic that,
Yeah.
but I still think, I mean, you could find a way. Somebody who's played a tournament and played a role, even if they played one game, something you can reconsider.
And also in today's day and age, it's much harder to fake these injuries. I mean, the scans, etc., would be going to.
that
That,
doctors only do.
Then you can fake it.
I was about to say that, which is why, again, while you were saying that, it took me very briefly right now, it took me back to the time we were
Hamstring.
having that
Right.
discussion about, external injuries like Pant had suffered, you should allow subs. Again, because I know how the sport is governed and how things are, there will never be a fine way and impartial way of really, or a very, a very to the T correct way of you being very sure whether it's authentic or not, whether it's being judged rightly or not.
So then I take you back to what the legal system says. They say now that you are innocent unless proven guilty, right? There is a reason why you have that, because to put a innocent man for punishment is much worse than someone who's guilty and is let off. So you want to err on the other side. You don't want to punish an innocent man. That is the last thing you want to do. Maybe in that manner, let's say someone who's guilty gets away is still better. I think that is the logic. So what I'm saying is, in this case, while there is I thought of the other way, is maybe so that they don't fake and that loophole will remain. But I think in the larger scheme of things, it's more injustice not to give a player a winner's medal who's participated in a tournament, then allowing for this loophole to be exploited, and maybe somebody uses that to their advantage. But at least you're not harming the player who's participated. So I know this problem will be there, but I'd rather have this problem than this problem of not allowing a player who's participated getting the
And also, we're talking about that whole grey area. Rishabh Pant has in public admitted that when he went down in the T20 World Cup final, he was
feigning
faking
it.
it.
Yeah.
He's publicly admitted it. You're okay with that gamesmanship, but this is where we draw the line. Oh, we can't give a fake medal. And Pant himself has admitted it. I'm not making it up. He's gone on top.
I won't be surprised where cricket's also headed in a direction where now in the Premier League, at least I know, there are rules that there's only so much time you can send, you can spend on the pitch getting treated. You play with a man shot, you won't get treated. Closest byline, go over there, get yourself treated.
And there is, by the way, a loophole to even that rule. You know what the loophole is? The going off the field thing is applicable to every player except the goalkeeper. Which is why nowadays the goalkeepers will mysteriously go down clutching their heads.
It's funny we're talking about it just today. I'm just saying how it's all percolated. See, these things have a lot of impact. Because this, time wasting, this gamesmanship, you've seen it with Rishabh Pant, you see it in tennis as well. Today I was having a conversation with my daughter. She had a final today, so she lost her final. I believe she's playing an under 10 tennis final, right? And her coach said, and she was narrating it, she's leading some 9-2 or something, and the girl takes extra breaks in the middle, and she's like, I'm about to serve, she'll say no, wait, and she's like, for 10 seconds she'll wait, and she said she did it multiple times. Not that she understands what is happening. I can. And I'm like, listen, how kids really take to what is happening. I'm not saying that it would have impacted either one of them. Maybe it did not. Maybe it had no effect. But it's just that you want to emulate your heroes so much. Anything that you see that, okay, when you're trailing, you're supposed to do that. This is a smart thing to do.
You get under the skin. Whatever, they may not be able to understand the technical aspect or the fact that this.
She never got under the skin. So maybe my daughter didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
So she didn't get perturbed. And maybe she played normally. And maybe she genuinely did make a comeback. But I'm saying she had that in her mind that this is what she's supposed to do. So she was like, what was the referee doing? He said, referee kept telling her, you can't do that, you can't do that. And after some time, because it's like, kids, he said, I can't do anything. Let her do it. Because
there can't be any sanctions.
Exactly. But I'm saying, imagine how much kids. And see, this is what happens. You see a Joko do that, right?
The toilet breaks.
Correct. Yeah. You see a Pant do it. You see whatever you see, it just is picked up as the gospel by the kids who are watching.
You see a lot of times in kids playing, if they'll get fouled, they'll roll. Where do they learn that from?
Yeah.
You learn from who? You learn from
when you see on slow-mo, when the replays, multiple replays, VAR, etc. show you the hands hit over here, players clutching his nose, going down the field. What do you learn as little kids, yaar?
Their players are getting slapped here and he's holding his abdomen. Bro, come on, yaar. He's on the right place. One time a player gets stepped on his left foot, he's holding his right foot. I'm like, what? Come on.